I moved back up to Cambridge about 7 years ago. That was necessary due to my own personal health, and it's just fortuitous that I was able to move back in with my mum. We have a good enough relationship so that we can just care for each other and do the jobs that the other can't or dislikes. And moving back to the house, I knew that some changes would have to be made to the layout of the house because it was built as a kind of a starter family home. But after I moved back, I got my first electric car, and that's where my kind of interest in energy efficiency really got triggered. Okay, so the time is now 4 o'clock, and the evening peak session for electricity is between 4 and 7 p.m. So I'm going to plug my car in, but this being an energy efficiency house, I'm not plugging my car in to charge it. I'm plugging the car in to either run my household or to export electricity to the grid for this peak session. But going back to the house, the interest in energy efficiency then led me towards thinking, well, what can I do to make the house that much more energy efficient, creating a more livable house, also a nicer environment, cleaner air, nicer temperatures, and using natural materials where we could. One of the features I grew up with in the house is Cork wallpaper, which was put up about 40 odd years ago and has needed no maintenance since then. And I've been looking for ideas for a wall surface that would require no maintenance. But the Cork wallpaper, it serves as insulation for sound and heat, and just is where my kind of love of cork has grown from. We opted to put a 3x2 metre extension to house an extended kitchen now, and going for natural products again where we could. There's a cork floor throughout a lot of the ground floor of the house. The kitchen cabinets are IKEA base units, which are quite well recommended. They've got the IKEA bamboo fronted doors on them, but the work surfaces and a lot of the other doors are from a company called Plykea, who will give you a kind of a high-end finish to the IKEA range of products, and it's lovely ply finishes throughout, and ply is one of the features that's repeated throughout the house, as is the cork. Yeah, a rather neat feature which got fitted yesterday, so we're very excited about them, are some blinds which are individually operated for going up and down, and because these are tilt and fold windows, they actually move with the windows. They're not don't open the window and knock the blind rail off, they move with it. So that's rather fun. I wanted to use natural materials wherever possible, and one of the features I wanted to go with was either lime or clay plaster, and the costs of those plasters are about twice the cost of gypsum plaster. So as a compromise, I had to go with the gypsum plaster but used clay paint instead of a regular paint. So the benefits of clay paint are similar to that of clay plaster in that it doesn't release any VOCs. It also helps to filter the air to a certain extent and regulates the humidity of a room. And it also has a more of a velvety touch to it, which is a rather nice feature. Well, this is a design feature I'm quite proud of. We've created an accessible bathroom on the ground floor. The architects, when I approached them saying that we wanted an accessible bathroom and bedroom downstairs, they were talking about a 3x3 metre square room, so it has full wheelchair turning circle accessibility. But I don't really have a 3x3 metre space available, but I created this accessible bathroom. So it's going to have a floor to ceiling sliding door which goes all the way back to this wall, which allows a wheelchair to come along and to slide across my wheelchair onto the toilet. And also the wheelchair can be pushed right into the shower area. The reason that we can get into the shower area on the wheelchair is because this used to be an external wall, but we had an extension built coming out. So this wall is now an internal wall when there was a window there. So we've been able to take out the inner leaf of bricks and push the the bathroom basin into the wall, so it creates room for the wheelchair to get past. Another feature which will make the house more accessible is a level entry threshold. So the outside brickwork sloping up to the front door, and then it has a level threshold. We've gone for an extra wide front door, but additionally the panel over here to the left also opens, so it creates a larger entry to the house. Extremely easy to get a wheelchair, or if you're assisting somebody over the threshold. Creating a multi-generational home where the older occupant is in their 80s and likes physical switches that you can turn on and off, and myself being a bit of a tech geek, I like the lights to come on automatically. I've found these light switches where they do have physical control of the lights. You can turn them on and off, but you can additionally have the automatic features to them, so they can turn on at times of day. You can adjust the level of lighting, and they can work with circadian rhythm type lighting, where it's lighter in the morning, a bright blue, white, and then later in the day they can adjust to a softer yellow light. Makes for a nice living environment, but it retains the function of being able to turn the switches on and off. So I've also tried to implement an energy efficient heating system in the house. We've had an air source heat pump installed in the back garden, and I've got the plumbers to install the pipework for the radiators in the most efficient manner, which is top in, bottom out. Most radiators you'll see will have the hot pipe, the inflow and the out, down at the bottom, but that is not as energy efficient as having them piped in this manner. But a lot of people will find that quite unusual to look at. But with air source heat pumps and being able to run in reverse in the summer months and provide cooling, if that's something that you're looking for, then this is how you would need to plumb your pipes, so that the cold water circulation actually goes through the radiator and not just straight across the bottom in and out without providing much of a cooling function. From the original design of the house, all of our wet areas are in one corner of the house. Upstairs we have this area, the bathroom, and the toilet next door, and right underneath us we have the kitchen, and we've incorporated a downstairs wet room bathroom. So with all those four wet areas, it gave me the option to go for an Air Eco air extract unit, and we only require about 2 or 3 meters of ducting to get to all of the extract points to take the air and expel out through the wall. And the incoming air, which doesn't have heat recovery, that was a bit more of an expense, which is why I went for Air Eco. But the intake of air is through the habitable areas, through the bedrooms and through the living areas downstairs, and they use as a combination of wall vents downstairs, and upstairs we have new vents which will fit over the trickle vents on the window, and these vents are moisture controlled, so when there is high humidity the vents will open up more, high humidity content inside, they'll open up more, allowing more fresh air to be brought in. So this is an infrared panel. It's 2 separate heating elements. There's the top, which is designed to heat the objects in a room, and as this is the bathroom, there's a couple of rails which go across, and you can actually have towels hanging from those, because the lower panel is at a reduced wattage, so you've got a towel heater and room heater all built into one, and they come in white or black, or you can have photos printed onto them. But it's a lovely gentle heat that heats the objects rather than the air within a room. So it's a lovely feeling, like standing in the warmth of the sun. So fortunately we haven't finished the cork yet, so the cork external wall insulation on the rear of the property, so I'm able to show you the work in progress. The external wall here, we're just going for breathability, we're not incorporating any air tightness layer. So it's a very simple process. There is an 80mm thick layer of insulating cork board which gets mortar glued and then mechanically fixed with the cold bridge reducing fixings, and then a 20mm layer of cork facade, a much tighter grain to the cork, then gets glued onto the top of the insulating layer and creates a lovely final finish. You don't need to render on top of it. You can, but you don't need to render on top of it. It gives you a lovely tactile surface that is pretty much fireproof. It will smoulder. They can't call it fireproof, but it would take hours and it would just smoulder. It's damp proof, weatherproof, rodent proof, plenty of other qualities, and at the end of its life as external wall insulation, it can then be recycled into other products again. So an absolutely fantastic product. It starts off a very dark brown, but then will naturally silver as is exposed to the sun. So the existing windows we've tried to reuse. Fortunately they were just fixed in using standard fixings, so we've been able to pull all of the windows forward so that they will now fit in line with the new layer of insulation. But we have fixed them a lot more securely and used airtight tape and air and weather tight tape, and then purple passive as well, to create a much better fixing for the windows. So here is the connection between the window or door in this case and the external insulation. The 20mm facade board with the 800mm insulating behind. We've foamed in to the areas and we're putting a strip of cork down as the final finish. And so coming to the house, you'll be able to see hopefully the pleasant environment that I've been able to create through these natural products and the energy efficiency measures. Certainly the swapping over to an air source heat pump for the heating creates a fantastically comfortable environment for us to live in, with lots of benefits.